Well, in the studio is Professor Andrew Knight, veterinary expert and Professor of Animal Welfare and Ethics at the University of Winchester. Great to have you with us. Here's Maggie, the rescue terrier. Here she is. Hiya, Maggie, who is vegan, I'm told. She'll certainly be making her voice heard. There she is. Yeah, Maggie. Is she a moment in the sun? And of course, Jo Amit is with us, who's the co-founder of HOWND. Jo, great to have you in the studio with us. Maggie will just put a little head above the desk in a minute so we can all see her.
Yeah, she's promised to be very good.
She is being very good. Tell us about this brand, vegan dog food. I mean, you know, I'm sure you've done your research and you got funding for the business and you're a serious person, but some people will think this is an April Fool. Yeah, absolutely.
No, it is a serious business. As you said, we've been around since 2015, making cruelty-free, plant-based products for dogs. We took some investment into the business in 2019 after a successful launch of vegan treats for dogs, and we launched our first range of plant-powered superfood that is nutritionally complete, as you say. So that means basically it's giving the dogs everything that they need to survive. So it's got all the nutrients, vitamins, minerals that a dog needs, but it's just a different source. It's not a meat source.
Well, we'll turn to the vet on the panel in a moment, Andrew Knight, if we may. But I'm a dog person. I've got a Cocker Spaniel, my family. We have a Welsh Terrier as well. I'm not a vet, as I say, but I must say Maggie does look very healthy. She's got a very glossy coat. She's got a lovely damp nose and she's got bright eyes. She's just hiding there under the desk. Maybe she's a bit camera shy. Where did this idea come from? Does anyone else do this in the world? And have you had trouble convincing people? I mean, how are your sales?
It's a good question. So first of all, there are other brands doing it as well. So we're not the only ones in the category, which is a great thing. Competition for us is a good thing. We're all doing the vegan food slightly differently. HOWND does wet and dry food. There's other brands that are just doing wet or just dry, but we're all nutritionally complete. That means that we follow FEDIAF guidelines, which is what all products, including meat, have to follow.
Yeah.
So your dog has got the right amounts of methionine, carnitine, glucosamine, all the minerals that a dog needs. Protein, we've got high, if not higher protein than some dog foods. We're at 28% protein, but it all comes from a balanced source of plants. And to do sales, definitely growing. When we first launched, our only customers were people who own dogs and they were vegans themselves because they totally get it. We're vegan, I'm vegan, my family's vegan, so it would make sense.
And you look pretty healthy, if I may say so.
Thank you. I'm not fading away, but so we're all vegan, so it makes complete sense. And we never fed our other dog a vegan food because there wasn't one on the market that was balanced yet. We're now about 4 brands that have got an offering. She's on ours, and as you can see, we've had her for a year. She was a rescue. She arrived with patchy skin, coat. She didn't have her wet, happy nose back then. She was bred from, and she is doing fantastic.
What do you make of this, Andrew? You are a trained vet. You teach. You've taught veterinary science in the past. You're now a university academic working in this area. Can we be sure that dogs are getting everything they need just from plants?
Yes, I mean, as Jo says, the company are formulating these diets to supply all the nutrients that the dogs need from plant, mineral and synthetic sources. A lot of those are also the same sources in meat-based diets, so the difference is that these ones don't include animal products, but they are formulated to supply all the nutrients that are needed. And we know from our research that if we do this, then the animals appear to have health outcomes which are as good or better, actually, than many of the animals maintained on conventional meat-based diets, which is really fascinating. The other interesting thing is that looking at their behaviour in a lot of detail at feeding times, when they're feeding vegan versus meat-based diets, and analysing all that in vast amounts of statistical detail and depth, we've discovered that there's no significant difference at the end of the day. The animals are consuming the vegan diets, seem to be enjoying their food as much as the animals consuming the meat-based diets on average. Of course, dogs will be different, but that's what the overall result seems to be. So unless we figure out how to actually talk to them directly, I think...
You're working on that, I'm sure.
We're working on it.
That would be a story.
No one's cracked that yet. I think this is the best we can do, so we can safely assume this isn't cruel to a dog.
So owners of dogs, they shouldn't be concerned about giving their dogs vegan-based food. The dog is getting everything that he or she needs.
It's important that the diet is formulated to be nutritionally complete.
Okay.
And there are some diets in all groups, meat-based, vegan, others, which have not been formulated to be complete. So people need to be checking the labelling to make sure that the diet is nutritionally complete for dogs, and choosing a reputable company that's taken good steps to ensure the good quality of its diets.
You're making money, right? This is serious. You're making money. It's a viable business and it's growing.
It is growing. We've now got a few thousand customers on the food and growing. We've got, big plans over the next 5 years. You're welcome to come on board.
Well, I'm certainly going to take this home and feed it to my dogs. Let me declare to the Standards and Privileges Committee this can of dog food. It wasn't a bribe. Jo Amit, all the very best.
Thank you so
and
much.
Maggie the dog, and indeed Andrew Knight, veterinary scientist here from the University of Winchester.